Start from the very beginning.
Okay, rolling
A
camera.
very
Rolling.
good place to start.
Here we are, interview with Mom, September 5th, 2015. And this is going to be fun. You ready?
Ready?
Got a lot of questions. These are questions from the family.
I hope I can remember anything.
These are questions from your fan club. These
Okay.
are questions from all over the world.
Ooh, okay.
So we're going to start with, first question is, Mom, can you tell me where in Italy your parents are from?
All right. My father and mother came from Genoa, Italy. My mother was from a town called Sesti Levante,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful little town, and Papa was from Moneglia, another little town in Genoa. They're both lovely areas. I've never been there, but they tell me they're beautiful.
I've been there, and I can confirm they are spectacular. They are beautiful, and the relatives are wonderful, and I've gone there several times to visit them. But so Grandpa and Grandma, Mommy and Papa, were in Italy. Now, can you clarify, because people don't realize, they didn't know each other in Sestri Levante,
No.
and they were teenagers, or they grew up but now they're in their teens, and they've never met, and it's a very small village. Okay, so what happened?
So Papa, my father, we'll call him Al.
Okay, Al,
Okay,
yeah,
Al.
Alfredo, yeah.
Alfredo. He came to America when he was 16, and he landed in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And there he met my grandfather, who was already there in Boston. From there, he saw a picture of my mother at my grandfather's place and fell in love with the picture.
Wow, a long-distance love affair with a picture.
Yes. So, Grandpa decided to send for my mother and grandmother and also Uncle Henry, my mother's brother.
Okay.
Well, he asked my grandfather.
At the time, they're not.
At the time.
He's not. Yeah, he's right.
He asked him
Yeah.
if he could give him a loan to bring them over.
Okay.
And my dad gave them the money.
Okay.
So my mother when she arrived, Papa met her at the pier.
Great.
He went to
In
the
Boston,
boat
so
and
the
he
boat
met
arrived
her.
in Boston, and he
So
met her.
they met in Boston. And later, when my father asked Grandpa for the hand of marriage of his daughter, he said, "I don't know you well enough."
Boy, Grandpa, you are tough.
He was quite a character.
So they've been dating, and they've been.
Papa actually took my mother to night school. He would take her to night school to become a citizen.
Wow, fantastic.
And also, they would show her around because she sang so beautifully. They would take her to the different classes to sing, and she would sing Santa
Wow.
Lucia
Wow.
to the students. And actually, the principal of the school would take my mother around, and my father was a little jealous.
Oh, he didn't like Al taking
No.
his daughter around.
That's right.
So I heard a rumor. Now, can you confirm that there was Grandpa had a dog that whenever Mamita got near
Yes.
Alfredo, Grandpa,
Had the dogs.
the dog would growl.
Yes.
Is that true? Was there
Yeah,
a
I
dog
heard
that was
that story
trained?
too. Yeah.
I think Papa, I think, told me that story.
Yeah.
So the dog. So they're on the porch. They're sitting, and if he got close and tried to hold her hand, the dog would bark, and then Grandpa would come out and.
Yeah, he was very strict.
Oh wow! So they're lucky they got a chance to see each other. He
I
sounds like it was
know.
tough. Didn't they have to elope or run away and?
Well, actually, Grandpa came to San Diego,
Okay.
and then they were married in Boston. When
So
he left.
Grandpa left to San Diego, and while he moved to San Diego,
They got married.
Mamita and Papa
They
got
got married.
married while he was gone. So they didn't really elope. They just
Yeah.
Dad was out of town. Okay. That's good. I'm glad you clarified because I didn't know. I thought that they ran away. Actually, he just moved.
They
and
didn't.
right when-
They didn't sneak around.
they didn't sneak around.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they finally got married.
Yeah.
And then what happened? So they got married. They're
Then,
in Boston.
after they were married, Grandpa told them to come to San Diego. So they moved to San Diego.
Okay. So they moved to San Diego.
They moved to San
Do you
Diego.
know approximately what year that was?
Well, it must have been 1925,
1925.
because that was the year I was born.
Okay, now was Papa an American citizen at that time? Did he?
Yes, yes. He
Wow.
became American citizen in 1923. I have the record of him becoming a citizen.
Wow. So okay. So and when did Mamita become?
And
American
he,
citizen?
I think she became a citizen in Boston. I'm not sure. I don't know the date, but
You know, I never asked this question. I keep forgetting they came from Italy, both of them from a small village. When did they learn English? And how did they learn to speak English?
they had to study to get their citizenship. Did
Okay.
study.
It was mandatory, right? You
Papa
had to-
took her to night school.
Okay, so you had to study to.
Mhm.
Okay, I thought maybe Mamita learned it from watching Young and the Restless.
That was her favorite program.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
but, we'll get Young and the Restless.
That's another chapter.
So let's just go in order. So now they've arrived. They moved to San Diego. What year is it? 1924?
25.
25? And they settled down in San Diego.
Yes.
And they had you.
A baby.
A baby. Maria Angela Ravatino.
Yes.
What year was that?
It was 1925, August 18th.
See, I'm trying to find out her age, so we're doing a little trickery. We'll do that. We'll add it up. So, okay, so you were born in San Diego, Mercy Hospital, or
I was born on my mother's kitchen table.
okay? Now this is news. This is breaking news.
Yes.
I didn't know you were born on the kitchen table.
I was born on the kitchen table.
Wow.
And the doctor held me and he said, I was a blue baby. And he said, oh, this baby doesn't want to come into this world.
Oh no.
And my mother's sister, Nina,
yeah.
said, I thought babies were supposed to cry when they were born. So she swatted me.
what
And I
happened?
woke up.
Oh my gosh! So maybe you weren't even. Wow.
Yeah,
And this
so
happened all.
she saved my life.
This all happened before dinner too, 'cause
Yeah.
it was on the kitchen table. So they had to
Wow.
get you out of there and make dinner.
Yeah.
So you were born on it. Okay, I've never heard that story.
Well, that's the story.
Wow, you were born on the kitchen table.
On the kitchen table.
Fantastic.
And Zia saved my life.
Wow,
Hmm.
amazing. And then how many? And then Gloria, your sister, was born. Was she born on the kitchen table
7
as well?
years later.
Not on the kitchen table.
Not at the table. She went to the hospital.
Okay.
And the funny part was that I had never known that my mother was carrying a baby.
Oh.
In those days, that was very quiet. And she was so slim that nobody realized she was even pregnant.
And then she just.
Said all of a sudden I see
Gloria
a little
popped out.
baby come. And I thought, I was a little hurt because nobody told me about that.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I was.
She just popped out.
Yeah, they picked out, and it was a complete surprise.
And they said, Maria, you have a sister.
Yeah, and I find this little baby around. Wow.
Did you
See,
play?
I was a spoiled baby around there.
Okay,
I was the only
okay.
child in the neighborhood,
Oh, wow.
and
Wow.
I was always taken everywhere. We lived in a neighborhood where there was some Italian family by the Bernardinis,
Mm-hmm.
and the daughters, they just took me. They adopted me. They loved me.
Great.
They would take me everywhere. Because I was the only child around. And on one day, an incident happened that was very trying. They were doing the laundry, and they had the old-fashioned washing machine with rollers. And they put me up there to look at the clothes. And I stuck my arm in there, and my arm went up the roller.
Oh, my gosh. You could have. Did you get injured?
They took me to the hospital.
Oh,
But
nothing broken?
Nothing happened.
That's amazing. So like a little mouse, you just kind of,
Just a
collapsed right in and pulled you right out, rolled flat. That's probably why you have such nice hands for piano.
Oh, yeah.
You've been rolled. So now you're a teenager. Living,
Not yet.
Okay. Let's back up. Okay.
I'm 2 years old.
Oh, it's a 2-year-old story. How do you have a 2-year-old story? Oh, this
I have
is
a
good.
2-year-old story.
Okay, I'm dying.
1927, because
Okay.
I have a picture of me in 1927. Okay?
Okay. So Mom, just so everybody can get the full rundown, tell me Mamita and Papa's their full names.
Okay. My father was Antonio Alfredo Ravetino,
Okay. Fantastic name.
but everybody called him Al. They never called him Tony. And it's a coincidence that his first name is Antonio,
Mhm.
and my mother was born on the feast of St. Anthony,
Oh,
June the 13th.
perfect. Nice.
Okay, so,
And Mamita?
and Mamita's name was Graziosa Armida Ravera.
Great name.
Graziosa is grace in English.
Fantastic.
And they always called her Mida, because Armida. They always,
Mhm.
That's why you kids called her Mama Mida.
Yeah, we just known her as Mama Mita.
Yeah,
Okay, so those are great names.
yeah.
Love it. So now you're in San Diego. You were born on the kitchen table.
Okay.
You're about 2 years old. Something happened. A big
Okay,
event. at
now
2.
I mentioned the Bernardini family.
Yeah,
that
the
were
neighbors.
Okay.
Yep, the Italian neighbors.
One of the daughters was selling tickets
Okay.
for a raffle, which was going to take place on Columbus Day at the Italian Federation. Okay.
All right.
So the prize was a $500 piano at that time. So she sold my mother a ticket for $1.
Just one ticket.
One ticket,
Wow.
$1. The day of the raffle, they all went to this Italian festival, and they called the number, and nobody answered to the number. And the lady who sold her the ticket said, "You know, my ticket is right next to that number. It must be your ticket."
Were Mommy and Papa at the event?
Oh yes.
But they didn't have a ticket with them?
She didn't have the
She
ticket.
forgot they even bought a ticket, probably.
Huh?
They probably forgot they bought a ticket.
Yeah, really. So they let her go home to look for it, which was very unusual.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So she went home, turned the house upside
So
down,
Mommy and Papa are back at the house?
back at the house.
Is the event still happening?
No, this is the next day.
It was over. They let them,
Yeah,
if
let
they
them
could
go
find
home.
it, they could
Yeah.
come back and get it.
So the landlady said to my mother, "You know, your little girl always gets into your purse. I'll bet that ticket's in the trash."
Oh.
So they went to the alley, they dumped the trash can, and at the bottom of the trash can is this dirty little ticket.
Oh, my gosh.
So they redeemed the piano.
Wow. And they got the
They
beautiful
got the
piano.
and the piano was a player piano.
Oh, how fun
It
is
had
that?
little pedals,
Yeah.
and it came with all these beautiful old popular songs of the day. So when I was old enough to reach the pedals, I began pedaling, and that was the beginning of my piano.
So,
And my mother would sing all those beautiful songs.
wow.
So that was a lot of fun. And so that was the beginning of our piano.
So music came into your life through a mystery lottery ticket
This ticket.
that you threw in the trash as a kid, and they found it. That's pretty amazing. So
I know, that was.
So you're growing up. So you're a little kid, and was it? Did you play a lot in the neighborhood? Did you have fun in the?
I had
a lot of friends.
we had my two cousins lived near me,
Okay.
so we we grew up together.
Which cousins?
Andrew and Flora.
Okay, great.
And Andrew just turned 90 in January. I went to his birthday party.
Wow.
Unfortunately, Flora passed away a few months ago.
Mm.
But we grew up together, and we would go on vacations together. We had a lot of fun. Flora and I celebrated our birthdays together because hers was the 15th of August, mine was the 18th. So we'd have our birthday parties together when we were little.
Oh, how fun!
So it was a lot of fun together. We would go on vacations to La Cresta. La Cresta was a little town up in the mountains,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a big event for us.
What did you do up in what was it like?
Oh, it was just
Would you stay at a hotel? At a motel?
no. We rented a little house.
Okay.
And we always rented the same house from these people,
Oh,
and I was a brat though.
you were?
Yes,
I can't imagine.
because every night, Flora, my cousin, would do the dishes.
That. Yeah.
And one night she said, "I think Mary ought to do the dishes
Oh.
tonight."
Oh.
And I thought, wow, that's a dirty trick. Why should I have to do dishes tonight when everybody's going out?
Oh my God! How old were you?
I don't know, about 11 or 12, I don't know.
Did you do the dishes?
I did the dishes that night.
And how was it?
I pouted.
So you were a little bit spoiled.
Yeah, I was spoiled.
Yeah, well, I know.
I still am spoiled.
No,
'cause
you're
you can't
not.
spoil me.
No, I know that. I know that you got away with a lot because Papa. There's a story, but I guess we can get to that later about the car incident when you started driving.
Oh, that was fun too.
But
one thing about Papa, he had gone to Tijuana for something. They went fishing or something like that. And he was talking, and I guess I was interrupting him, and he said, "Oh, shut up." And I said, "Do you come all the way from Tijuana to tell me to shut up?"
oh no, what did he say? He probably felt terrible.
Yeah, he felt really bad.
I know he never scolded you because remember the story? I heard there's a story about the car incident with the neighbor. When you first started driving?
Oh, it was so funny. Well, first of all, I tried to take. I had an uncle by the name of Uncle Henry.
Okay.
But they called him Barbarico.
Oh, I remember Barbarico.
Which means rich uncle in Italian.
Oh,
Barbarico.
Okay.
So I said, "Barbarico, will you teach me how to drive?" He said, "Sure, come on." So he gets in his car, and he goes up to the top of a hill, turns off the motor.
Oh.
He says, "Now this is how you save gas." We rolled down the hill.
Oh my goodness.
That was my first driving lesson.
Coasting down a hill.
Coasting down a hill.
That's pretty dangerous. The brakes probably weren't working.
So then when I tried to drive, he said, "You'll never learn how to drive."
Really?
He was very impatient with me. So that was my last driving lesson with Uncle Henry.
Oh, and then you went out and borrowed Papa's car. He got a brand new car.
Oh, we had a car. We had an old, well, it was a 37 Chevrolet.
Okay.
Okay. So one day I was driving and I ran into a car. I mean, just a little bit, a little dent.
Yeah.
So I came home and I put the car in the garage. And I didn't tell Papa about it.
You didn't tell Papa?
So he went to work and he comes back. He says, "Oh, I'm so mad. Oh, somebody parked next to me and put a dent in my car." And I says, "Papa, I'm sorry. I did that." I had to confess.
Oh, no. But he thought it was the neighbor, right?
He thought it was whoever parked next to him.
At work.
At work.
Yeah.
Or wherever he was. I don't know.
Oh, how funny. But he didn't even get mad, did he?
No. He never got mad at me. Except that one time he
Except
told
for the
me
one
so.
time when he told me to shut up.
But one time, this really would give him a cause to be angry. We were going to La Cresta.
Okay.
And we were going up a hill. Gloria and I were in the back seat. And a fertilizer truck was in front of us.
Oh, la la.
And it smelled awful.
Oh.
So we said, "Oh, Papa, this is terrible. Pass him up." And we passed him up, and a cop came by and gave him a ticket.
Oh, for passing on a hill. Oh my goodness.
So we were terrible.
But he listened to you.
Yeah, he listened.
Oh, that's funny.
Very funny.
So when did you start?
Ain't funny, McGee.
It ain't funny, McGee. So tell me now. Okay, so you got the piano. You're growing up. When did you start taking piano serious? Like when did you realize you really love music and you wanted to follow?
Well, we had an organist by the name of Edna, and I started taking piano lessons from her.
Where was this at?
This is in San Diego.
Was it at a church?
She was the organist at St. Anne's Church.
Okay.
And so she started teaching me the piano.
How old were you about at that point?
About 12.
12 years old, okay.
And so then she began to teach me the organ. We had a little organ, it had no electricity. So again, I was pumping the pedals.
Wow.
In order to get the sound, I had to sit there and pedal. So I spent half my childhood pedaling.
Yeah, you're a peddler.
I'm a peddler. So Every Tuesday night, I had to play for the Mother Perpetual Help Novena, and that was my job at the church.
Wow.
So that was very interesting. So this one thing that as I said, I was kind of a spoiled brat. Because I was the organist at the church, I thought I should be treated like the older kids.
Oh, how old were you at this time? Only 12?
12, 14,
Wow.
you know.
Yeah, you wanted to be...
Well, they had what they called the Catholic Youth Organization.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to go on outings. They used to go to skating rinks and have fun, you know.
Yeah.
Well, because I was playing the organ, I thought, why can't I go with them?
Sure, makes sense.
Father Rice said, you cannot go because you're not old enough.
But you're old enough to play
yeah,
organ.
so I pouted. I was very mad.
How did you learn how to read the pieces of music you were doing when you were only 11, 12? Who taught you how to read music?
Well, I guess the music teacher did.
And
But it was,
and you were able to learn those pieces.
I don't know, it
Those
just
are
worked.
complicated. Like Ave Maria and
All that stuff.
all those great religious pieces.
So then as we progressed, my Zia, my aunt Nina,
Mm-hmm.
met this Italian professor,
Okay.
Enzo Pasquarella, who had just come from to San Diego for the exposition as a musician, okay,
Okay.
as a performer. So she introduced me to Pasquarella because she thought that I should improve on my music.
Mm-hmm.
So he took me over, and I studied with him for 5 years.
Wow.
And he gave me enough work that covered all the conservatory music in Italy, which was good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have to practice about 6 or 8 hours a day.
Wow.
So
you're
I
going to
studied-
school. So you're going to school, right?
I was going to school,
What school were you going to?
San Diego High School,
What is it?
San Diego High School.
San Diego High School?
Yeah.
Okay. And then so you would go to high school all day, and that's when you would get on the bus and they used to call you Pickles,
Yes, we drive.
right?
I was on the bus, and there was a pickle factory.
Where they picked you up, right?
So we passed by the pickle factory, oh, there goes Pickles.
So you got a nickname Pickles because you were picked up at the bus stop by the pickle factory.
By the pickle factory.
That's funny. Did you ever eat any of those pickles?
I never had a pickle.
I never had a pickle. So you're going to school all day long. You come home and you practice six hours.
Well, this was pretty hard.
So when did you have time to go out with all your friends? And
I didn't have any friends.
you did too.
I didn't have any friends.
You had friends in the choir, right? You also used to.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. I don't even remember having friends. I didn't have time.
You were so well. Well, if you just do the math between 6 hours of school and getting to
practicing.
and from school 7 hours, and then practice is 6 hours, that was pretty much it.
It was hard. But anyway.
Yeah, that was a lot. And Papa was working at with the fishing companies.
Oh,
And he was-
that was another story. Yes.
So you would bring home, because I know you used to tell me you used to have fresh fish every
Okay.
night.
That was a turning point of our lives with Papa. It was
Yeah.
February the 15th.
What
I
year?
think it was about 41, I
How old
believe.
were you at this time?
But I was about 16.
You were 16. Okay.
You got to figure out the...
Yeah, so you were studying with Pasquarelli then.
Okay, I was studying then, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm out there mowing the lawn,
Mm-hmm.
and my father's boss drove up and said, I'm sorry, your father had a little accident. He's in the hospital. We had no idea what had happened.
Mm.
So my mama and I went to the hospital. Well, what had happened was he worked in this shipyard. Worked there for many years.
Mm.
And he was a very loyal worker. He never stayed home for a night. They would call him sometimes at 2 a.m. when boats would come in. He'd take care of all their needs. Well, there was a 1,800-pound boat engine on a crane, up on the crane. And the operator pushed the wrong button, and the boat engine came down on Papa, 1,800 pounds. in the mud and dirt.
So it must have been raining that night, huh?
No, it was because it was of the water.
Oh, because of the water from the,
yeah,
from the boats.
boats.
Okay, wow.
He had so many injuries that they didn't know where to start. They for 8 hours he was in the hospital. In those days, things were a little different, you know.
Sure.
He had a compound fracture of the leg. He had broken pelvic bones, 7 broken ribs. I mean, it was just incredible. Well, when he was in the ambulance, he had a reason. He never lost consciousness with all this happening. Jesus appeared to him in San Rocco,
In the ambulance?
in the ambulance, in the San Rocco, who was his patron saint in Italy, Saint Roch, San Rocco.
Yeah.
And they told him, "You will recover. You will get well." And so he was confident. He was sure that he would he would recover because he was told.
Right.
They wanted to amputate his leg because it was so infected.
Right.
And they would send the priest to us or the bishop. "You've got to talk your father into having an amputation because he's going to die." And we talked to Papa and he'd go, "Nobody touched my leg.
Yeah, because he had this vision that said you were going to be
Nobody
fine.
touched my leg." His ankle was like a football. It was so swollen.
Wow.
But we'd go there every night, and my mother began very slowly and very gently massaging it. At first, she could hardly touch it. And as it went along, she just massaged every night and work on it. He was in the hospital for 9 months.
Wow.
And once he had
9
an
months.
experience was kind of, it's comical, but it was, at that time, it wasn't very funny. There was a fellow by the name of Spud who used to give Papa rides. And his buddy was Al, you know. So he comes to visit Papa. And he was a little, you know, a little...
He had a drink.
A little drink.
He was a little-
Comes in and he goes, "Hi, Pop, Al," boom. He hits the traction and down everything went.
Oh, my. He hit a button and the cables all released.
Everything went down.
What'd they do? Did they have to...
Well, they had to put it back
Was
together
Papa in
again.
pain? He must have been-
He was in real pain.
Spuds was a pain, wasn't he?
So that was Spud.
Spud? It sounds like the perfect name for him.
So anyway.
So
after
9 months later, he came out of the hospital.
Well, they didn't know if he could walk again because he was always in traction.
Right.
And finally, at the end of 9 months, they let him go home.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing.
Well, he began taking lessons from a fellow, learning to make violins and ukuleles. There was
Wow,
a fellow
I
that
remember
didn't
that.
live too far away from us. He was good at it. He made some
Fantastic.
beautiful instruments. And then when the fellow, I guess he closed the shop,
Mm-hmm.
he went to Convair, which at the time was making all these airplanes
Yeah,
for
right.
defense. And he worked there until he retired. Well, he was on his feet
Wow.
8 hours a day. He and Gloria would take a bus to work.
Gloria
they-
went there to work?
Gloria worked.
She worked at Convair as well?
They worked together.
Wow. And you were...
And I never went to work.
Well, you...
I was the brat that had to study.
No, because you were playing
the piano.
at the cathedral, right?
Well, that was, that was another job.
You were working at the cathedral. You went also to college to San
Okay,
Diego
well,
State?
we're going back a little bit.
Yeah. You were 15, 16 when the incident happened with Papa.
Well, Papa had the accident.
Yep.
And when I was confirmed, I was about 15,
Right.
we met Bishop Buddy, who became the first bishop of San Diego. And because we spoke Italian, he loved the language, and he loved to speak with us. And we became friends. And later on, he asked me if I would play the organ at the cathedral and direct the choir.
Wow.
So I became the organist there.
And how old were you when you started that? About 16? Or?
Well, I was a little older than that. No, I don't know. I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway.
It was probably right when you started going to college or right before college?
Yeah, oh, that's right. I studied with Pasquarello for 5 years.
Okay.
Then I quit.
Okay.
I got tired of that. So I went to San Diego State College. I enrolled there.
Great. Did you play piano as well at the college? Was there a music
I
department?
had fun at the college.
Okay, so you had fun at college.
I had fun. I entered this glee club, which is called the Treble Clef, which is a girls' chorus.
Great.
And we played everywhere. We would
Did you sing? You were singing?
Yeah, I was singing in the
Fantastic.
glee club.
Fantastic.
We would go to the Hotel de Coronado.
Mm-hmm.
We'd always go different places to do concerts.
Yep.
But one of our my favorite job was to attend concerts at it was called the Russ Auditorium,
Mm-hmm.
where all the famous performers would come. Piatigorsky and all these. Rubenstein.
Wow.
We would be the ushers, and they would give us $1 each to usher. But we were able to see every fine artist that would come into town. That was a treat for me, you know. So
That's fantastic.
But I had a lot of fun in college. I had one incident that was kind of funny. I had
Tell us.
I had a Jewish boyfriend.
What was his name?
Dick Berman. Okay.
Dick Berman. Okay.
All right, we're sitting out on the lawn. And everybody smoked. Everybody at the college smoked. That was it,
Except for you.
except for me. So somebody offered me a cigarette.
Uh-oh.
So I was going to pick it up, and Dick looked at me and said, "Maria Ravatino, I'm going to tell your mother on you."
Oh. So
I put the cigarette down, and I never smoked.
we have to thank Dick for that, because you would be probably an avid smoker right now if you
That's
hadn't
right.
been for Dick. That's funny. So you never touched a cigarette.
Never touched a cigarette.
That's awesome. So you're having fun in college. You're playing at the cathedral on the weekends and at night. Did you have choir practices? And
Well, when I was studying music with Pasquarella, we had an opera choral club. I accompanied that.
okay,
I would accompany singers. I gave beginner piano lessons,
great.
and I was always busy.
Yeah. So you were working full time and you were going to school as well.
And so.
Hey, were you living at? Did you move to? Were you at the house on Max Drive, or was that before? Where were you before Max Drive?
Oh, I never went. I never lived in Max. Papa got that.
Okay, after.
That's another story.
Okay, all right. Well, let me ask you, where were you living when all this was happening? What area?
I was living in southeastern part of San Diego,
Okay.
which was not the healthiest part of town.
It was pretty rough.
Pretty rough.
So you were, but you guys were there for several years.
Yeah,
Your whole childhood.
yeah.
Did you have the same house for all your childhood growing up?
And my grandmother moved in with us.
Okay.
We built a room for her. She stayed with us until she stayed with us in San Diego for 40 years. Never
Wow.
learned English.
Wow.
She became a citizen, though.
Tell us Grandma's name, full name.
Maria.
Maria? Oh.
Yeah.
So that's probably where
Yeah.
Maria came from.
So it was really- I think,
Nona's name, you mean? I mean, Nona? You're talking about Nona?
no.
Her grandmother.
What was Mamita's mother's name?
Yeah, Maria.
No, I can't. I'm confused. No, I can't remember.
Your grandmother's first. Well, you probably just called her Grandma.
Nona.
Nona.
We called her Nona. We all
Yeah, she was always Nona.
Wow.
So, but she never learned to speak English. She became a citizen, though.
Mm,
And then after
Fantastic.
40 years, she went back to Italy, and she died there.
in Italy, her homeland.
She went back to her home.
So, and I wanted to ask, because did you guys speak Italian all the time at home? Did you speak English, or was it a mix, or was it?
It was English, Italian, and Genovese.
Yeah,
the
it's
dialect.
the Italian dialect.
Which we still speak, the
Yeah.
dialect.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gloria and I always speak the dialect.
But did you speak mostly Italian, or did you speak?
Now, that's the other thing. When I was studying piano, Pasquarella had taught me Italian.
Oh,
So I studied Italian, too.
wow! So your teacher was teaching you Italian and music at the same time.
Yeah.
He's a good teacher.
Yeah. So anyway.
So now you've got, so you're studying music, you're teaching, you're going to school. What was the school again in San Diego? What was it
San
called?
Diego State.
San Diego State University.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Okay, so then, let's see. I was at I was playing the organ
Yep.
at the cathedral. And on one big occasion, which was the Feast of Pentecost,
Yeah.
they would televise our Mass. It would be on television.
Mm.
No, excuse me, it was on radio. We didn't have
Okay.
television yet.
Okay.
So we would, they would broadcast our Mass. So after the service was over, we would listen to the rebroadcast on the radio to see how it sounded.
Yeah.
And on one occasion, a young man came upstairs
Oh.
by the name of Larry Weir,
Mm.
and he had been listening to our broadcast on the radio.
Mm.
He lived in Encinitas, drove all the way from Encinitas to come to this choir to see if he could audition for the choir.
Wow.
And I said to him, "Oh, we're listening to the we're listening to the radio.
To the broadcast.
Would you mind waiting?" And so he was a little upset, and he left.
Oh.
And he said to himself, that snooty choir director.
Oh my goodness.
So he came back a year later, and I was still there.
The same snooty choir director. So when you first saw Larry, Dad, did you, what was your first reaction? Or were you just too preoccupied?
I was too busy listening to it.
So he
became one of our most active members.
so
He put a lot of life into the choir.
so he came back a year later,
Came back a year later,
and you let him audition.
and he came in and he became the best choir member.
Wow. So when did you start thinking he's pretty cute?
Well, I don't know. He just was very cute, and he would, for example, he would make us laugh. We would have so much fun together. After choir practice, we'd all go together and have a lot of fun together.
Oh, that's right. I heard a story. Now, do you remember this? You told me this a few years back. You said that that a bunch of the kids, all the kids in the choir, you guys used to go out every after the rehearsals or after practice or performance, and you said that it was kind of low energy at the parties, and then you said one time when Dad joined the choir, you said you met everybody at a restaurant or a cafe, and it was everyone was laughing and it was kind of wild and really festive, and you looked over and you saw that Dad sort of was very instrumental in making it quite a festive event with all the different singers and the kids in the choir.
That was it, yeah.
You said that it was. You said, "Boy, I think you might have said to me, we didn't realize how dull we were until he entered the choir."
That's true.
So he brought a lot of life to the group and and you saw that enthusiasm and festivity
Yep,
that he brought to the whole group.
that was true.
And now, so did he ask you on a date or?
Well, kind of, yes. We would actually, during the summer, we would go up to La Cresta, to Water Hot Springs. He was working in, this is it. He was working in Water Hot Springs,
Okay.
and we were in La Cresta.
Okay. Oh, your summer.
And back in La Cresta. So after his work, he would come and visit me
Oh.
in La Cresta, see. So we got to know each other.
So how old you were? 21? 21 years old?
No, I was already 24.
24?
23. Well, around that.
23?
It's because I was when we were married, I was almost 25 years old.
Okay, so you're about 23. So did how did Mamita and Papa
react
to Larry?
My mother said when he asked me if I would marry him, she said, "You wait 1 year."
Oh.
Okay. So we did.
So you started dating, and then did you have a feeling he was going to ask you to marry him?
I don't know what I thought.
Do you remember when he proposed to you?
No.
You don't remember
I don't
where
remember.
it was?
No, I don't remember. It was probably in La Cresta.
Did he have a ring?
It's right here.
So he had a ring?
Yes.
And then, so he proposed to you, and you told Mamita, and Mamita said you wait 1 year.
Yes.
Did he ask Papa's permission?
That's what he always, Papa was very offended
What happened?
that he didn't ask Papa.
What? Oh, that's not good. What happened? So did
I
he?
don't know, because I guess my mother ran the room.
Did he ask Mamita's permission?
Well, he talked to her. I don't
But he
know.
didn't talk to Papa.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was bad.
Did they? So you waited a year,
Yeah.
and then
And we had Bishop Buddy gave us instructions. He
great,
invited us to his home,
fantastic.
gave us a beautiful dinner, and then gave each one of us instructions.
Mm.
And then Monsignor Rice also. So we had instructions from two different people, the bishop and the
Wow.
Monsignor.
Wow.
So we were well prepared.
I love the photos of your dress. Where did you get that beautiful satin wedding dress? Do you remember?
one
Was
of
it?
the bridal gowns?
Did you and Mamita pick it out together, or did you? Gloria,
You know what was
or-
so funny? I was so thin then
Yeah.
that when I'd go back for fitting, the lady would say, "I'm worried about you. You lose weight every time you come."
Normally it's the other way around.
Yeah, and she said, "Why don't you start eating some wheat germ?"
Wheat germ.
I didn't even know what wheat germ was. But
That's
she
funny.
said, "You should eat some wheat germ."
You look fantastic in that dress.
No, on other days.
Yeah, that was pretty. That was pretty dramatic. You look like a movie star.
Oh, wow.
Definitely a movie star. So you had the big wedding at
A beautiful
the
ceremony
cathedral, right? At the cathedral.
at the cathedral. We had 8 priests.
Wow.
And we had a master of ceremonies was Daniel Day Donahue,
Mm-hmm.
who at the time was a seminarian.
Mm.
And later, he became a knight. He left the seminary and married this very wealthy woman.
So he was knighted by the.
I don't know. He was sir.
Oh, so he was knighted by the queen.
I don't know who knighted him. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that's
he was
the only
Sir-
one that gives the knightings around.
He was Sir Dan. Anyway,
So you had the wedding. Was it in the day? Was it in the day or the evening?
yeah, the day.
Saturday. Do you
10
remember
o'clock.
what day it was?
10 o'clock in the morning.
Do you remember what Saturday?
It's a Saturday, and then
Okay.
we had a beautiful reception down in the cathedral basement where they had a
Mm-hmm.
reception hall. It was lovely.
Did a lot of people show up? Did you have a lot of?
Oh yeah, lots of people. It was fun.
All the relatives. Did anybody come from Italy, or do you
No.
remember?
No.
Everybody was here. That
Yeah, they're all. And so we we drove off after the ceremony and all. We were driving up the coast,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a gift of $700 in my wallet.
Mm.
We stopped at a restroom, and I left my purse on the back of the toilet.
Mm.
And we drove off, and after a while I said, "You know what? I think I left my purse in the bathroom."
Uh-oh.
So we had quite a few miles, and we went back, and the fellow says, "Here," he gave me my purse. He was very honest.
Wow.
So
You got all the money back.
got my money back, and Larry said, "From now on, I'm going to be in charge of the money." And I started to cry. That was our first spat.
Oh no! On your honeymoon night? Was it your honeymoon night?
Yeah, well, on the road, yes.
Oh no! Did you have fun when you got to San Francisco?
Yeah, we went to San Francisco. We went
Did you go to
to
Sausalito?
Hearst Castle.
Yeah. Oh,
Went
great.
to Yosemite. We
Wow.
went everywhere. It was beautiful.
How long were you gone for? Do you remember?
Well, I know it was about a week or two, and then we get this phone call
Uh-oh.
from Uncle Jack.
Uh-oh.
He says, Larry, we need you to build a fireplace. You got to come home right now.
But-
And Larry was so mad.
Build a fireplace. Did he come back? Did you guys come
We
back?
went back.
Oh.
And then, to make matters even worse, when we got back,
Yeah.
Larry had rented a lovely apartment from actually Dr. Maurer. She was our doctor later on. It was lovely, but I had never seen it.
What city? Where was this in Encinitas?
Encinitas.
Yeah.
When we got back to the room, everything was upside down. His brothers decided to play a joke on us.
Oh.
So they took everything, everything was upside down. The whole place was a mess. So
Some that really was a big. That was quite amusing, wasn't it?
yeah, Tate Funny McGee
Tate Funny.
again.
Well, Dad must have really upset you.
Well,
Was Dad upset by it?
he was upset.
He didn't think it was funny, did he?
No, because he had it all prepared. It was lovely.
He did it all. He fixed up a beautiful love nest for you. Oh, did he come back and build that fireplace?
I guess he did.
Oh my gosh! So they cut your honeymoon short.
Yeah.
And then, how was it living in Encinitas? Did you
Oh,
like?
it was very nice. Yeah, it was very nice, and I learned to cook. I had never cooked before because Mamita and Nana, they were always in the kitchen,
Oh
so
my
I had to
gosh.
learn.
Who taught you?
I got a cookbook.
Okay, before you set up, I wanted to just ask you because I forgot to ask what year. Do you remember what year you got married?
1951.
1951, and the date?
June 23rd.
June 23rd. Okay, June 23rd, 1951, and so you got married at the cathedral. You had your honeymoon in San Francisco and San Simeon, Hearst Castle, and did you go to Sausalito? Probably Sausalito too.
Going up Highway 1 was the most beautiful trip. It was just so lovely.
Did you have did Dad have a car? What kind of car did he have?
A little Ford.
And you guys drove up
Ford.
there, and so you had your honeymoon. You come back, your love nest has been ransacked by the brothers. They get it would be a funny gag.
But one incident that was very interesting.
Was this on your honeymoon?
No, this is later.
Okay.
Later on.
And now you've already set up how you started cooking.
I started making gourmet meals. It was it was like a fun thing for me.
How did you learn how to make these gourmet meals?
I read all the books.
Oh, good.
And for before I was married, I had been saving up for a sterling silver place setting. So I had a place setting for 12 people,
Wow.
and it was lovely. So I started
pretty
using all my
impressive.
beautiful place settings and all
Ooh.
my fancy stuff. Well, after the kids were born and started playing with my sterling silver,
We'll get into that.
I have just about 2 or 3 pieces left.
I want to apologize. I want to apologize personally because I think I actually used them to dig holes in the sand with the spoons. I needed a beautiful big spoon to, Oh, I apologize for that. I wanted to say that right now. So you set up house in Encinitas. You're now fixing gourmet meals. With your,
Even Uncle Jack used to come over and have dinner with us. He loved it. Oh, yeah, it was fun.
Wow.
But anyway, this is another incident that I remember. I used to listen to a radio program
yeah.
on KFAC, which was a classical station, played beautiful classical music. And they were advertising for the opening of the opera in Los Angeles. At the time, it was the Shrine Auditorium, La Traviata,
Wow.
with Lily Pons and Jan Pierce. She was the leading prima donna. And I thought, oh, that sounds good. That sounds so beautiful. So I sent for tickets.
Oh, wow.
I was pregnant at the time with my first baby.
With Larry? Okay.
So on a weekend, we left for Los Angeles. And we got to Los Angeles. We found out that the seats were the 5th balcony at the Shrine Auditorium.
You thought it was the 5th row You thought you were in the fifth row orchestra. You
I
got
had
fifth row
no idea
balcony.
where we were going.
Oh no! How bad was it? Was it?
I was okay. Well, Dad fell asleep.
Oh.
He slept through the whole opera. and I enjoyed it. It was beautiful. But we were coming home, Larry says, all I remember was that tenor's big nose.
So Dad fell asleep at the La Traviata.
La Traviata.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to take you there sometime to make up for that. And I promise not to fall asleep. So when you guys were, so the first year you got married, you were in Encinitas. Did you still go up on those family trips to La Cresta? Did you still visit Mamita?
No, but I kept playing the organ at the church.
So you were working
I'm still working at the church.
when you were pregnant with Larry, and
Actually, he was born on Good Friday,
mm,
and I was supposed to play for the service. And instead, I went to the
Wow.
hospital and had a baby
oh
on
my
Good Friday.
gosh. Oh my gosh!
Then another time, it was Christmas, and we were going to be on television,
Mm.
and we were on the way. We left for the service, and I started feeling a little strange, so I called my doctor.
Mm.
She said, before you go to church, I think you just stop by the hospital.
On your way,
We'll check you out.
yeah.
So there I stayed and had a baby at 12 o'clock. So if I hadn't gone to see call the doctor, I
You
probably
would've-
would have had the baby right on television.
It could have been a live
Live-
live birth of Pixie Christine. So when did you leave Encinitas? Did you guys? How many? So Larry was born, and then Maria did. How many kids were born in Encinitas, or when you were lived in Encinitas? Do you remember?
I think then we moved to Escondido.
Escondido after
After
Maria or Stell or Tom?
No, after I think the second one. I'm not sure. Isn't that funny? I lost track.
That's okay. But you eventually moved from Encinitas to Escondido.
Escondido.
And was that on Escondido Boulevard, or where were you staying?
Well, first we rented a little house, and then we went
And then
eventually went to
did Dad build?
the beautiful complex,
Right. It's
So-
now a
and you
veterans.
had-
It's now veterans condos.
Yeah. We had a beautiful room. Remember that we had 9 desks all along the wall there.
Wow. So the rest of the kids were born. All of us were born. Well, when you were living on Escondido Boulevard.
Right. And then each one had his little desk to do his homework and everything. It was it was beautiful over there.
And you had pretty much.
And I played the organ
You played
there.
the organ. But, so you didn't. Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. When did you stop playing at the cathedral? Because Escondido is about 40 miles from
I know.
Did you continue playing at the cathedral?
Yeah, I played there till after Pixie was born. Yeah, so that was.
Wow.
We did a lot of traveling.
Wow. So you were driving back and forth, and then did you play also in Escondido as well? Did you?
Then I played the organ in
At
Escondido.
St. Mary's?
St. Mary's.
Yep.
So, and then it seemed as though whatever town we went to, they
Yep.
needed an organist.
Sure.
We went to Oxnard. I played an organ there.
Yep.
And
You also
St.
played
Mary-
at the high school, at the Oxnard High.
Oh yeah, that was another one.
So all nine of us are born, and everybody's playing music.
Yeah, but tell us the story about Dr. Dorgan. You know about Dr. Dorgan.
Oh, Dr. Dorgan. Oh, yeah. So after
After number 6.
Teresa, right? Yeah, it was after Teresa.
Wait a minute.
Larry, Maria, Stell, Tommy, Pixie, Kathy, Teresa, number 7.
Okay.
Might have been after Kathy. Was it after Kathy?
Kathy.
Yeah, it was after Kathy, actually. That's right. You had that wonderful doctor that Dad built a home for,
Dr. Dorgan.
Dr. Dorgan, that's right, and he said that he could help you with your problem
Yeah.
of having children.
He sent us a form to fill out if we wanted his services.
And was he going to do it for free?
Terminate.
Was he going to do it for free, right?
Oh no.
Oh, he's
I
going
don't
to charge
think
you?
So. Oh, sure.
Oh, so
He wasn't that generous.
He was gonna help you out of your problem of having children.
Yeah.
And you, thank goodness, declined it. And,
Yeah, we had 3 more after
and
that.
that's what I was gonna say. I know. I'm really happy you told Dr. Dorgan
To fly a
to
kite.
fly a kite. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to talk to you right now.
Gee, isn't that something?
So all 9 kids finally, and everyone's playing music and singing. And, okay, so Mom, did you start teaching Larry piano? Did he learn piano right away, or how did that all start?
Actually, Maria was the one that was taking piano lessons with me when she was. She was such a brilliant little kid. She was so bright. She was 3 years old. She had learned the whole alphabet. We had a blackboard which she would write. She'd write all the names.
Wow.
And she learned all the capitals of all the states.
Wow.
And she was so bright. And so she would play the piano a little bit,
Yeah.
So
Larry was going to be a priest.
And Larry was the priest. My mother was a great seamstress. She made all of the vestments for Larry. He was just a little tot.
Yeah.
And he'd had all the priest vestments, and he would say Mass. He had his altar, and Tom was his altar boy. And Tom, altar boy, dropped the book. The priest gave him a kick.
Larry kicked Tom, his altar boy, under the...
And Dad saw that.
And what happened?
So he kicked the priest.
So
Gave him a swat.
So the priest got in trouble. Did that end his...
That was the end of his...
Is that it?
That's the end of Mass.
Is that Larry? Did he quit after that?
I think so. But there was another incident that was before that.
Yes.
Okay. My mother and I used to go to Mass together every morning. Okay, when I was young, when I just learned to drive, I was driving. So she would get up and start walking to church, and I would go in the garage and get the car, and then I'd meet her.
Okay.
Well, I was just leaving to go in the garage, and I saw an explosion in the distance. That looked very exciting. So I got in the car.
Where are you living at this point?
In San Diego.
San Diego, okay.
So I drove to find out where the explosion was.
Yeah.
And my poor mother was waiting for me to pick her up to go to church.
Oh.
Well, I drove to this. It was a pharmacy that exploded. Something happened.
Wow.
There was a big explosion.
Wow.
And I got there before the fire trucks got there.
Oh, my goodness.
So when the fire trucks came, I was trapped in the hose. All the hoses were around my car.
So you couldn't move.
So I couldn't get out.
And so did you have to stay the whole time?
I had to stay there. I couldn't go anywhere. And my mother was so worried.
Oh. Did you finally get to
So
her?
finally, a long time later, I saw Papa coming down. He goes, Maddie, your mother was worried about you.
Oh, my gosh.
I said, oh, Papa, I couldn't get out because I was trapped.
Sure, you like to see the action. You liked action. I know that. Hey, let me ask you. So you teach. So all the. Okay, we're on Escondido Boulevard. All
Yes.
9 are born. Is that right?
Yes.
When did we move to 395 house that Dad built on 395, off of 395?
Oh, well, I don't know.
Well, at one point we moved to that. Was he building that house when we were obviously living on Escondido Boulevard?
And then we moved to that beautiful home.
Yeah. And how long were we there for? Were we there for
Quite a few years.
quite a few years? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think Dr. Maurer lived nearby as well.
That's right.
Yeah, because we drove by her house.
Oh, she was in Escondido, Encinitas.
Oh, Maurer wasn't off 395? The two doctors the two...
No.
No? I'm mixing them
I'm
up.
confused. Too many events.
We went to too many houses, so we were off 395. Do you remember the name of that? I can't remember that street, but it was off of 395.
395.
Because I know they built the big freeway through there.
And you
Yes. Yes, I remember there's an incident.
Well, we had a few incidents with you.
Okay.
First of all, one of them was we drove to McDonald's,
Yes. Right. After St.
and I had
Mary's.
this big van, and I had
Yeah.
everybody in the car, and we went to
Yeah, the
McDonald's.
Country Squire, right?
Yeah, and we left you at the McDonald's.
Yes, that's right. And they fed me. They fed me at McDonald's. I remember they gave me apple pies. They gave me French fries. They gave me everything.
When we came back, we
Yeah.
were driving away and said, counting heads, "Oh, Michael's not here."
Oh my gosh.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
So we were back. There
Yeah.
you were. You were so happy.
Yeah. I wasn't too upset, was I? How old was I about there? Was I 5 or 6? 4?
I
was
don't
about
know.
4.
But you're
I think I was about 4. I remember that. I remember they kept feeding me. That was a good time.
Yeah. Then another time, at the 395, we had a swimming pool,
Mm.
and you were not supposed to be there, but you snuck out,
I used to always sneak out by that swimming pool.
and you saw a snake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was out on the diving board.
And you go,
I used to walk the plank like a pirate, you know?
"Save me, save me!"
And the snake was on the other side of the plank. He started slithering around on the other side.
And guess who saved you?
Who did was that?
Maria
Maria?
was saved. She always saved everybody. She was.
She came out with a shovel, I think. And it was pretty scary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And another time,
Yeah.
you were in the crib,
I remember that.
and there was a snake.
There was a snake that was underneath the crib.
Yeah, and Maria took care of that one. Maria was
You know,
always there. She was the.
I should be terrified of snakes, of all these snake incidents. And then what about the great one about the? I just remember that the incident with the record player in.
Oh, the mouth.
Yeah. Yes, I remember that. The mouse on the record player, and we shut the record player off. Remember, he was seasick. He could barely walk. Remember that?
Oh my gosh.
Well, do you remember?
Well, see, out in the country, there's all sorts of rodents.
Yeah, there were mice, snakes.
How about the goats?
Yeah, and what about the story with? Remember the story I never told you about the tarantulas?
That one I don't know.
Didn't I tell you that story?
No.
Oh, remember you used to play the piano in the living room. There was a fireplace, and you had the music stacked all on that little adobe brick shelf by the fireplace. And I was I would come in there and listen to you play on the couch, and I could see under the piano, I saw these tarantulas come out and sit up on the books and listen to you.
Oh, well, no.
And then when you stopped, they scurried off, and they ran and they would go back and hide. I never told you because I knew you would
I'd be terrified.
you'd be scream
Oh,
all the time. Yeah, I used to. And they apparently they can't hear. No, but they feel it.
Oh, I guess it.
They feel the. Apparently, I could be wrong, but I think they feel the vibration of music. So they used to love it.
It's just like my cat,
Yeah.
Slick. He used to sit next to me when I'd play the piano,
Yeah,
and he'd listen to me play.
yeah.
But when I played Rachmaninoff, he'd leave.
Oh, you didn't like rock.
He didn't like Rachmaninoff.
Wow, that's
On one occasion, Dad, Larry, and I were sitting at the piano. Larry was singing, and I was playing the piano, and he came and sat between us at the
Oh.
piano. It was so cute.
Oh,
I had a picture of that.
at off 395.
No, this was in
Encinitas?
Tehachapi.
Oh, in Tehachapi. Oh, you talk about Slick.
Slick. Yeah.
Oh.
Now we're ahead of ourselves.
Oh, you jumped ahead.
Yeah.
That's okay. So, and let me ask you this question: when did Larry and Tom and Maria come to you and say, "We're going to make a record"?
Oh, that was an evolved some
Okay, but they finally
mysterious way.
decided they were going to make a record.
Well, it was the Beatle time, so
Yeah.
everybody wanted to be like
Yeah.
a Beatles.
So they recorded "Boy, It's All in Your Head."
Yeah, so Larry was the boss.
Yeah.
He would say, "Now, I need a piano. I need a keyboard player. Estelle, you play the piano. I need a trumpet player. Kathy, you play the trumpets. Pixie, you play the trombone." So they all had different instruments, and everybody studied with a different teacher.
Where did the instruments? When did you get all these instruments? Did you?
We bought them.
You bought so
Dad
many
said
instruments.
we could have sent you all to college with all the money we spent on those.
I know you bought. Well, and we bought a lot of instruments.
Yeah,
Well,
everybody.
you did send Larry to college and Maria to
Yeah,
college.
yeah, they did.
And,
Well,
and
anyway,
Estelle too, I think.
they.
Did you go to college, Estelle?
A little bit.
Okay.
So anyway, getting back to the instruments, we found the finest teachers for you.
Yeah.
You had Joe Picaro,
Yeah. Right.
you
Right.
and Joni and
Yeah.
Tom.
Yep. That's right.
As Kathy would take lessons from this fine trumpet teacher, and they all had good teachers. And
Yeah.
Teresa studied with this fine
Yeah.
sax teacher.
Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
In fact, when she was going to her lesson with your car, if you remember.
Oh, right. Right. She got in the car accident on the freeway.
Yeah.
So everybody, and I remember this was a big deal. We were all in Oceanside, and we all decided we had a big family group meeting, and we were going to move to LA to make it big because
Yeah.
there was no way anybody was going to discover us in Oceanside. Do you remember this group meeting? It was a big family meeting, right? So we all packed up and we went to well I kind of digress. First we moved to Oxnard
Yes.
and we lived in Oxnard Shores.
Oh, we had a lot of fun in Oxnard.
Yeah, that was quite an experience.
We did a lot. We were there, 5 years?
How did Dad and how did you guys fall in love with Oxnard? How did you know about Oxnard?
Oh, Dad found a place for us.
I know you guys always liked the beach, or he always liked the beach.
But this was the thing. We had so much going on in Oxnard.
Yeah,
Larry wrote 3 musicals
yeah, yep.
and had rehearsals.
Hobo's Jungle, Island, and House on Crossroad.
That's right. And we had rehearsals at the house every night.
I remember it was always something going on. There was
And
always
I
people.
cooked pasta for everybody every
Oh, my
night.
goodness. Yeah.
It was beautiful. And when the time came for the production,
Mhm.
Dad would come up and do all the sets for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
He built a beautiful boxcar that was so realistic.
That was pretty amazing.
People went up to stage to see if it was real.
Yeah, they thought we had a real boxcar on the stage.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
I played the organ at Santa Clara Church. Larry was the cantor at the church, so we worked
Yeah.
together.
And you also played at Oxnard High.
And then
Because I remember you taking me to Oxnard High and I sang The Impossible Dream in front of the class, the music class.
oh, you did that.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
You brought me and to the class and had me. I was about 6 years old.
The
And,
Impossible Dream.
yeah,
It was quite an experience.
and there was a good teacher there. The teacher,
I was the accompanist.
and who was the teacher? The other teacher,
Haydn.
yeah,
Mr. Haydn was a fine tenor, good
Yeah.
singer.
yeah,
So they hired me to be the accompanist for the
Mhm.
boys' choir,
right.
and they were a bunch of brats.
Mm.
They would make me cry. They were so disruptive that I would
Mm.
cry at times
Oh my
because the
goodness.
teacher left me to do all the work.
I remember. Yeah,
I would do the accompaniment and teach them the
Yeah.
songs and everything.
Yeah,
It was. Then we did the Messiah. Remember
Mm.
that?
yeah. In Oxnard, that was pretty.
And the whole family took part of that.
Where was that performed at again? Can you remind me? Because
It's a big auditorium.
at the high school auditorium.
Well, I don't know. It was Oxnard Auditorium.
Oh, where Island and where the shows.
Yeah,
Who put on that? Who put that on?
Haydn. It was a Haydn high school production,
Wow. Wow.
but the whole family was there. Dad even sang it.
Dad sang too. Wow.
It was beautiful. Yeah.
Because I think we were there for about 5 years.
How long was it? I think it was. We were
5
there quite a
years?
while.
Yeah, 5 years. Well, now, what about this? Tell me again, because I remember going to some shows. I was pretty young. What about the kazoo band?
The kazoo band. That was another.
How did that all start? How did that all start?
It was so cute. There was a group of senior citizens that had kazoos, and
Mm-hmm.
Larry was the director, and I was the accompanist. And so we would do concerts with these old gals, and he would teach them songs. I would teach them songs.
Old Fashioned Kitchen Band.
Hmm.
That was a song. Remember, Old
Yeah.
Fashioned Kitchen Band.
And
yeah.
we went to the Date Festival, Indio Date Festival, did
Wow.
concerts.
Yeah.
So when Larry did his musicals, he put the kazoo band in his musicals, the old gallows.
Wow.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was really something.
That's amazing. And
We also did Eddie Get Your Gun.
yep, I remember
Remember?
that. Yes.
And
yes.
that was a community theater.
Yeah, that was great.
And you were one of Annie's children.
Yep.
You and Joni.
Yep, I remember that.
What were your lines?
I don't remember my lines, but I do remember my lines in Hobo's Jungle. In Island. Remember Island?
Yeah, so what were you saying?
Island, I said, freaks, freaks, and more freaks. And where's the toilet? That was my big line. Where's the toilet? I'll never forget that. Yeah, that was my big debut. So Oxnard was quite an adventure. It was
And also I got a job as a adult education teacher. So
wow.
I teach adult piano.
Wow.
So I got a job
Where was that at?
at the
At the high school?
yeah. So it was another job.
Boy, you were working like crazy.
It was something else. Piano, accompanying the high school and evening school and then doing all our musicals. It was
Oh my gosh.
it was something.
I do remember when we moved from Oxnard. I just remember Dad coming down and us trying to get the house back in order. Do you remember what we did with the carpet?
No?
Well, because we messed up the carpet so bad, Dad bought cans and cans of spray paint. And he came up with this idea to make zebra stripes all over the carpet to make
Oh.
it. And so it looked like it was intentionally, and it actually worked.
See?
And you know, it's amazing. Our landlord was the famous Sonia Henning.
Is that who it was?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
She was our landlady, huh?
Yeah, I think we found this out. I don't think we realized who she was at the time, and years later, we found that out. So that was. I don't know if we ever even saw her, but I do remember us spray painting the carpet, and that was quite a. I remember I was like, Dad, you think this is going to work? He's like, oh yeah, this will work great. Spray painting the
Well,
carpet.
another incident in Oxnard, we had a dog.
Yes.
named Malou,
Malou, yes.
and there was a little gift shop, or
Yeah, the bottle shop. It's called the bottle shop.
right,
Yeah.
and they had a candy rack, and Malou would go and steal candy bars,
Snicker bars.
and Snicker bars.
He had a personal. He loved Snickers. Remember
He
that?
loved Snickers, yeah.
And I remember they were like, when he came in, they were like, get that dog. Oh, that's funny. You know, I don't think I ever told you this, but I was, praying to find a treasure in Oxnard shores when I was a kid, and digging with your sterling silver. Did I ever tell you that I dug into the sand and found a sack of silver dollars?
Oh, you did?
A giant sack of silver dollars, and I wish I would. I was like, "Thank you, Lord." I
That was
prayed.
your treasure.
Yeah, I found a buried treasure, and but I was such an idiot, First of all, who would bury this in the sandlot to begin with? But anyway, I dug it up and I found it, and I spent all that money on candy over the next couple of years. Instead of, that was I could have invested that.
You never told me about that.
Yeah, I was like praying for, to find a buried treasure, and it worked.
You found it?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
So, and then we moved from Oxnard back to Oceanside. Mom, so you're 13 years old, playing the organ at St. Anne's, and the Boy Scouts come to see you perform.
Yeah, the whole troop came upstairs
Okay, to the choir loft.
on the choir loft,
Okay.
and it was in the novena. So Monsignor comes out on the altar and he says, "Will the Boy Scouts please march down the stairs?" Boom, boom, boom. You hear a boom, boom, boom.
So he kicked them out of the choir
Kicked them
loft.
out of the choir
So
loft.
they were basically flirting with you, in love with you, and you were entertaining the Boy Scouts of America, and
That was
the
embarrassing.
priest was worried about
Yes.
them flirting with you.
Oh, it was funny.
Oh my goodness.
Very embarrassing.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Okay, so
So we now move to Bonsall.
the Bonzo. Yes.
And so how long were we in Bonsall for? A
I
couple
don't
years?
know.
It was a couple years. And you guys got into you were into health,
Oh yes.
when the girls announced that we were all going to be vegetarians.
Oh.
So I know we got some goats. And tell us the goat story.
Oh yeah. Well, Tom would practice in the garage,
Yep.
and one day the goat came by and ate all his music.
Well, not only did he eat Tom's music, but he ate my music because I had to have my lesson with Chopacaro. And so when Tom and I and Joan would go to see our teacher, I said, "I'm sorry, but the goat ate my music," and he
That was it.
it didn't. I didn't know Tom got, but that makes sense. So Tom had, he ate mine, so it makes sense.
Then another story about Tom and the drums.
Yeah.
I used to take a nap in the afternoon. That was my thing. Siesta in the afternoon.
Okay.
And Tom would be practicing his drum right next to me.
Oh wow.
And I would sleep through the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah, he would ding, 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 ding.
Doing his snap ups.
And I would. But see, our problem was that we had to move a lot.
Right. Well, I know that because I know we recorded the Gypsies from Bonsall record. Let's just talk about that really quick because that was a big turning point.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Tom and Larry decided we've got to build a recording studio, and Tom had found that there was a really good 8-track Ampex recording machine in Texas, Beaumont. So Tom talked to Papa to get the money, $5,000, $10,000 loan of some sort, and Larry and Tom, I guess, drove to Beaumont, Texas, picked up this 8-track, and that's when we started recording. It had a real recording studio.
Yeah,
and that was in Bonsall, and I know because I was the engineer, and you probably know I goofed a few times.
A few times. But you know what's funny? Around that time, there was a very important person by the name of Michael Lloyd.
Yeah.
Who was very, influential.
Right.
And I just met Michael Lloyd the other day at the studio.
You did? You met him here?
Just the other day, he was at the studio.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing after all those years?
Yeah, because, I'll tell you, I want to get to the Michael Lloyd because when we moved, we recorded in Bonsall, got the first record done. Gypsies from Bonsall was recorded. We played on that big television special, the Homegrown album. Remember the Homegrown KGB album? And then, moving forward, then we did our trip to Utah, which you know about Utah trip, where we got paid to not play because the girls were too risque.
Isn't that something?
In the Utah, and then we decided. Oh, and then
why was that? Why wouldn't they let you play?
Well, because the girls were so beautiful, and they were so animated and so beautiful and talented that the audience got out of control. And they were worried that the audience would attack the girls. And, and we were in Mormon country. And so it was very, they had to,
Didn't they put paper around their skirts or something?
Oh, I don't know about the paper, but I know that I remember they said, "Excuse me, but we're going to ask you to please, we're going to pay you for the next 2 weeks to not play."
Oh, okay.
So we stayed at the motel in Salt Lake City, and I just remember having a 2-week vacation.
That's time I wasn't with you.
Yeah, you weren't on that trip. That was also the day before we robbed the nightclub.
Oh, we don't talk about that.
Okay, we won't talk about that. That's a story that goes off the record.
We also went to Canada.
That's right. Now, do you remember where we were living when we went to Canada? Still, do you remember where we were living on the Canada trip? Were we in Westwood yet?
Westwood?
I'm not sure.
I think we were in Westwood.
Anyway.
Well, anyway, so let's get back to it. So we moved from Bonsall to Westwood, California. I remember that. Camden Avenue.
Camden.
That big house. It was really great. And we got you were now. Did you start playing? Did you start working at a school as well? Did you start playing the organ for someone? Because I know you were always playing.
I know. It seemed. Was I playing that time?
I think you were just trying to wrangle us all.
Yeah.
I just remember every room having somebody playing music, and you were cooking and taking care of all of us, and we were playing at the Troubadour and the different clubs.
That was very exciting.
Yeah.
Then, what happened to Michael Damian?
Oh well, we thank goodness for those teen magazines. We got things going. Yeah, that was fun.
And I was your, what do you call it?
What do you call it? You were my quasi manager. You were my handler.
I'm your handler.
You're my handler. You were my handler. That was fun.
I did all your
Fan mail? Take care of
the fan mail. I
Yeah,
did all
you were
your
reading
mail.
the fan mail and writing letters. Oh my goodness. Oh, I guess we're gonna disappoint some people when they see this. You did a lot of the answering to my fan mail.
Oh, it was fun.
Yeah.
But this was exciting when you did Joseph.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
But what came before Joseph, though?
What's that?
Young and the Restless. What about the Young and the Restless?
Well, first we got Young and the Restless, which was really exciting,
And how did you get on Young and the Restless?
Right.
well, I got on Young and the Restless because the producers of the show saw me on American Bandstand.
Uh-huh.
And
With who? Who was the guy?
with Dick Clark.
Dick Clark.
Yeah, and I was on Bandstand singing, and they
What was the song?
She Did It.
She did it.
Yeah, and so they wrote the character, and they asked me to first of all, they asked if I knew how to act, and I said, of course, which I didn't, as you know. And then it was really there's a video somewhere. It's Larry working with me, giving me some acting instructions. He gave me a fast, 24-hour lesson, which was really great because I'd never acted on camera, and so he gave me a quick, having all that experience doing all those plays really paid off, and so Larry gave me a quick brush up, and I did the screen test.
Now, who were the three guys on the Young and the Restless at the time? You, Doug?
David Hasselhoff, and Doug Davidson, and Stephen Ford.
Stephen Ford.
Yeah.
The president's son.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
right.
something.
Yeah, and so that was a great experience, and because of that, and the music took off, and then, as you said, I landed
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Andrew Lloyd Webber, Joseph, and you went to every show at the Pantages, didn't you?
It was the most exciting time. It was beautiful.
You fed you fed the whole cast. You brought so much food.
Deviled eggs.
You
Remember?
brought them vegetables, eggs, drinks,
Well,
concoctions.
one time, the little boy, there were 40 kids in the show. And Mrs. Weir, can you make deviled eggs for us? And I had never made deviled eggs before.
Oh, so one of the kids.
Yeah, so
my
I learned to
goodness.
make deviled eggs.
Wow, that was.
And then when
amazing.
the cast would get sick, I'd bring them tea.
You
and
took
soup.
care. Well, I know that Andrew Lloyd Webber in the production said, "Listen, we have to have your mom officially ordained as a part of the production, and so we'll give her seat, and this will be her seat every night that we're at the Pantages." And what's really interesting is that they wanted us to stay at the Pantages, but a big show came in, had Will Rogers, some other musical had been booked in, and they wouldn't move the date, so we had to leave. That's when we went to San Francisco.
And we went to Dad and I went to San Francisco too.
Hey, yeah, did you guys drive there?
Mhm. Yeah.
I was going to ask you. I wasn't sure if you flew or drove there.
No, me flying.
I don't know. I'll tell you about your first flight. Let's talk about that too.
Yeah.
But so Golden Gate Theater, right? I was at the Golden Gate Theater, and you and Dad came. It was really very special there at that show.
It was exciting.
Yeah, it was and you were a good critic too, and you gave me notes. You gave me notes every day. Your diction, you've got to pronunciate. You've got to. I was like, yes. I remember you really, watch your pitch.
It was great.
You gave me really good notes.
And I had the distinct pleasure of meeting all the guests that would come, all the
who's
actors
who.
that came.
Yeah.
And I'd bring them backstage to see you.
Tom Hanks.
We had the governor.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, it was great. And
Michael
then,
Eisner, the president of Disney at the time. It was pretty crazy back there.
Then one night,
Demi Moore.
Demi Moore shows up.
Yeah, that's right.
After the show was over.
Right.
With 6 girls.
Right.
I didn't even know who she was.
Yeah.
They were in jeans, and they said, "We're having a scavenger hunt,
Yeah.
and our aim is to get Michael Damian to come to our party."
I know. I was on the scavenger list. That
So
was a
you
great
were-
honor. Yes. So they came before, right? And I was like, when? Well, I'm about to do the show, and they're like, oh, well, can you, come afterwards? I remember, going to the scavenger party.
Yeah, you went to that. Oh, you got there.
Yeah, I got there, but I had to finish the show because they came before.
That was something.
That was quite an adventure. Wow.
Met a lot of nice people.
But you never got to New York because I know you didn't want to drive to New York.
No, never got there.
I know. Okay, so the only time you ever got on a plane. Let's hear the story.
Where did we go?
Okay, well, we got tickets from Liberace.
Oh, Liberace.
Gave us.
That's the story of Liberace.
Yeah,
It
Liberace.
was your birthday
Yep, we were living up on
in Beverly Hills.
Cliffwood, Summit Ridge Drive in Beverly Hills, and it was my surprise 21st birthday, and I see no cars on the street, so I had no idea there was anything going on. You guys disguised it beautifully, and I walk in the door, and all of a sudden I hear, "Happy birthday to you," and I look over, and it's Liberace on the piano, playing, singing "Happy Birthday." The place is packed. Everybody yells, jumps out, surprise, balloons. I remember Bob, my brother-in-law, decorating with, because I was in love with video games, and it was filled at wall-to-wall video games, Pac-Man, Space Invaders, and that was a very special birthday party.
And Liberace played the Polonaise. Dun, da, dun, 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 dun.
That was amazing,
Yeah,
yes. And he had his
And he drove there.
Yeah, he has his gold Stutz motor car. Later, when we came out, his driver pulled up and...
But he drove there himself.
well, no, he had his driver. His driver parked down the hill.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't
hi.
know that.
Yeah, he hid down the hill around the
Oh.
corner.
See, I didn't know that. Oh, that was something. So anyway, after that, he invited us
Yeah, to Vegas.
to his concert.
in Las Vegas, and got us tickets, all 11 tickets on the plane, hotel rooms, tickets to the show, everything was comped, and you got on your first plane ride. And how was it?
It was okay. I just closed my eyes. A 45-minute
It
ride.
and Dad was with us too. It was all of us.
Was he there?
Yes,
Oh.
yeah, Dad was with us. We all got on the plane.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and we got to see his amazing show.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, wow, that was a lot of fun.
Those were the days.
And then, wow, that takes us all the way through to, we finished past Joseph. You were my handler. That was a lot
I
of fun.
had buckets and buckets of fan mail.
Oh, you went through thousands and thousands of letters. I want to thank you for that. Did I ever pay you for that?
Oh, yeah.
I did?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
You bought me a beautiful car.
Oh,
A
yeah.
beautiful Acura.
Oh, yeah, the Acura Legend,
Oh.
yeah.
It was a lovely car.
Yes.
And you bought me a beautiful piano.
Oh, yes.
My grand piano.
Yes, it's over in
Yeah. it's
Studio
back
A.
there. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, Mom. We're gonna digress. We're gonna go back to some stories that you know from when Dad was in the Navy. So not only was Dad an amazing architect, designer, builder, but he was an artist. He was a
True artist.
He was really an artist, and he sketched, he painted, he did some amazing. He did comics. He did some great little animated comic sketches that I've seen.
Well, this is the thing. When he was in the Navy,
yeah.
instead of writing to his dad, writing letters, he would draw cartoons
Yeah.
of himself with his brothers, and he would send them to his dad. And they even put it in a Chicago newspaper. They had his cartoons in the paper, told a story about that.
Right.
And then when he was on the ship, one of the captain learned that he was a painter, an artist. So he asked him to do a mural of the Tuscaloosa going around the bend.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever
the
it is.
big around the horn. Yeah, it's
Yes.
beautiful. Yeah, the
So
ship,
he-
the Tuscaloosa.
So he
yeah.
did this big painting, which I wish I had. I wish I had seen it.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to find it.
It was on a Quonset hut.
And the captain was so pleased that they had a promotion for that.
Wow, because that was unusual because Dad, his brother Jack, Bobby, and Patty were all
In the Navy.
in the Navy at the same time. Well, Jack was in the Air Force, right?
Yeah,
But they were all in the military at the same time.
that's true.
World War II.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was some amazing adventures he had.
that's
on
before
the
I met him.
Yeah, before you met, because when you met Dad, he had just gotten out of the Navy. He
That's
told me
right.
that he got out. He was this hotshot young guy, and he heard that broadcast of you of you singing and drove up there to the
If I-
cathedral.
I didn't realize how far he had to travel every time he'd come to visit me. Encinitas was pretty far.
Yeah, and back then, you didn't have super freeways.
Yeah,
It was quite a trek.
that's true.
My goodness. So there's some pretty great adventures, especially when you and Dad were married, and they were married at the time. Yeah.
he's been-
Okay, sorry. So you and Dad are married, and I know that he had built the Fenton Ranch, which was pretty extraordinary. And you guys had met an amazing priest, Father Carrillo, and then
Well,
Dad-
there's a little story
tell us
about
about
Father
that.
Carrillo, okay? Father Carrillo was in Paula.
okay,
He was a missionary.
Yep.
Okay,
Paula Mission is a
that's
beautiful
right.
place.
And
It's a landmark.
that's true. And he knew quite a few celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
And one night he invited Frank Capra for dinner.
Yep.
And he invited Dad also, and the bishop of his group, of his order. So they're having dinner together, and after a bit, Frank Capra and the bishop were gone. He didn't know where they had gone. So Dad said, "I've got to find out where they are." And he went in the kitchen, and Frank Capra and the bishop were doing the dishes. And
That's
Frank
great.
Capra's up there putting the dishes away, and the bishop was. It was so cute. He told that story many times.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's and Frank Capra's my big inspiration.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the big reasons why I fell in love with filmmaking was because of Frank Capra. So
Yeah, that's something.
yeah, that's really amazing. And
Yeah.
and you told me some great stories because we went to the Fenton Ranch, and we're going to show some clips of the Fenton Ranch. But you went to some pretty amazing parties and some.
Well, even before he built the ranch, Father Carlito sent Dad to Mrs. Fenton
Oh.
to see if she would donate money for the mission.
Oh, so Dad met Mrs. Fenton through Father Carrillo
He asked Dad to go to Mrs. Fenton
to get a donation.
because they had a group called the Friends of the Paula Mission that they would donate.
Okay.
So Dad went to visit her,
Yep.
and she didn't think he was very good. I mean, she didn't
Oh.
like the idea of.
Him asking for money.
Yeah, and I don't know how it happened that they became friends, and then
Yeah.
that's when he started working on her
Yeah.
ranch.
Yep. And built.
So
some-
it was something. It was quite a, and we went to so many parties there, and it was
That was the place, wasn't it?
that was the place. And now it's quite a place.
Yeah.
People pay $20,000 for a weekend party there.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's so beautiful.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah. Well, we're going to show some really
But
beautiful footage. Of that.
he did so many beautiful homes
Yeah.
in all through Escondido, Rancho Santa Fe.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me ask you this, Mom. So I heard Dad just recently got an amazing award. Can you tell us about that?
It was a certificate of recognition from the city of Escondido, signed by the mayor.
Wow.
You know, it's a beautiful certificate, and I have it in the wall now, hanging.
For what he did
For all the contributions
a building and Adobe homes
in
and
Escondido. It was beautiful.
wow, that's
And that
pretty
was just
amazing.
recently.
Yeah, and I know that his homes are on the big tours. They do monthly tours of homes, and we were on one of the big Adobe tours that went and visited a lot of his homes, and that was pretty amazing. I don't think you realized, because you told me you didn't realize how many beautiful homes he'd built and designed, because you were
I was busy.
you had 9 kids, you were trying to wrangle 9 kids, but I know when we went to some of those beautiful places, you said to me,
Well, I was so, after Dad's death, you boys did me a big favor taking me to all these places.
Yeah.
As we had a tour.
Yeah.
And the people we visited
Yeah.
were all so happy to meet us,
that was
to
amazing.
tell us how they loved those homes.
That was amazing, huh?
It was something, yeah.
And you even corrected some of the people on the tour. They were like talking about, well, this was and you were like, no, it wasn't that. And you're like, I was there when he built it, so.
And you kids built the bricks.
I
He
know.
taught you.
I built the fireplace with Joni. Remember the mystery fireplace?
That's something?
Yeah, that we didn't put enough cement in. That's amazing. So, obviously, Dad, his whole thing was about building adobe blocks and building the home out of the adobe blocks made from the soil right there on the property. And we had a whole adobe block factory, didn't we? We built blocks, all of us, didn't we? All
Yeah.
the kids. I remember building them.
Yeah. And he had the owners. Now, this is another story that's very interesting. When they built the Lindsay home, John Lindsay home in Rancho Santa Fe,
Yeah, it's spectacular. Yeah.
they wanted a wine cellar.
Mm.
So Dad built them a big wine cellar, and my father would be picked up every day in San Diego, and they would drive him there, and he taught them how to make wine.
That's right, because Lindsay wanted his own wine.
Yeah, so every day Papa would come and make wine, teach him how to make wine.
Wow, that's amazing. I wish I had a bottle of that.
I wish so too. Yeah, it was delicious wine.
All right. Well, this is good. Well, I know we've got more questions for you, and
More?
different family members. This was just part 1. We're going to do 9 parts
That's true.
from different perspectives. Well, Mom, this was really fun
It's been fun.
going down memory lane,
That's true.
and we got.
And I just had the most wonderful birthday.
Yeah. How was that?
It was remarkable.
You're the big 9-0.
It was so beautiful. Everyone worked so hard to make it a successful party.
That was fun, wasn't it?
Joni and Estelle and Pixie and Masica and Larry and Tom and you doing the videos.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
That was.
You couldn't top that one.
That was a fun party. Well, we got more birthdays coming up. We'll try. You had those crooners sing to you. You had the young crooner boys.
Oh, they were so handsome.
They were great.
Beautiful guys.
Yeah, all your friends from your place,
Avila
from
Gardens.
Avila Gardens were
That's
there,
true.
and some wonderful priests were there, and your sister, and
was
a
great.
lot of love in the room.
It was beautiful.
You're a superstar, Mom.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll have to do it again, okay?
Okay.
All right, and we'll have to go. We got to go take a drive. We got to take another trip, and I want to video you, and we'll do a little road trip. Go look at
Okay.
some of the houses
Okay.
and do a recap.
That'll be fun.
All right, because there's some places we didn't get to go see that we're tracking down now that are now available for us.
You should go to the Captain Stone's place.
Yeah, and also the neighbor said we could come by anytime to see his house.
Good.
I think it was Ted Butcher. Yeah, Ted Butcher.
He died.
Yeah, but no,
His
but
home.
the people that own it,
Right.
the new owners said anytime.
That's right. I didn't get to see them.
Yeah, so we need to go down to that house.
Good.
All right, Mom.
Okay.
You're fabulous.
It's a date.
Yeah, and thanks for giving birth to me and and not,
Listening to Dr. Dorgan?
yeah, Dr. Dorgan. Otherwise, Estelle would have to be doing this interview. All right, Mom. Bravo.
Bless you. Bless you.